our road crash victims who have survived to please come forward and share their stories with us. And following that, we will have a candle lighting ceremony and a moment of silence, remembering those who have lost their lives on our road. Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. I will say all protocol observed. I will say I'm a victim of a road because Nasha is on in 4 years. Then after 5 years, but it's never right. Then it happens also again when 2009. Can't remember how I was old by then. But my child was 40. But my child was saying so. Then I will say, we message you go to the road crashes can change your life. Can change your life. You can't be able to do it. So I will say now, from the DPSA side, we have been siyabizwa ukuthi sikhona ukuthi siqwayise abantu ukuthi ingozi impela ziyaqeda impilo ziyayishintsha into abantu every day thina siyinhlangano abantu abakhubazekile we have been joined by abantu not belimele kuphi ama-accident ayenzeke endleleni, which is not what we want. We don't want new members eziza ngendlela ekungeyona. So ngithi mina nakulonyaka bonke laba bazothatha indlela ngokuthi sisuka la eGauteng siya ngeendawo semakhaya ukuthi sithi masiphephe sikhona ukubuya futhi sizosebenzela ingane zethu. Ngiyabonga.
Let me greet you all. And in the name of God. The Minister of Transport, Obabu, Ufigil Razmataz, and also the Mayor of Lesedi, and all protocol observed, Obabu, Advocate Msili. Nyachabula kakhulu ukuthi Road Transport Management Corporation is invited la ukuthi mhlawumbe izawusebenza nathi abantu disabled as the disability sector for persons with disability. I would like to share something with you. Do you know that already? Others to you maybe they will say how olale malakai hakiboni mumatu. So that is why they can go akasibonakare only disabled disabled. So always we are clean. That is why you cannot see me easily. So now I was involved in a car crash on N1A from Velcomo. Immediately got off at a close start. Montate Churches are saying against Twina Benawaziba. That they advocated Solama Jab, Moabigante, Cassia, Arfeta Mofe, Arapalamat offering on the it was on the left to an ultra city Kienamo. Arukala breaching board, the Tragayata. It on our side, most sighting in a Duchuyo. Ishapile more Arasoke, and one on a Kawalo, but thanks God to la one of appeal. But I'll share something new. We were drunk. The blind. So if you are drunk you cannot obey the rules and regulations of the road. It told you you're supposed to obey the rules in which way. But Kabaka would drive the same way, I'll drive anything. You are not going to listen to anyone. So Kabu Madima, it was in 1993, I think so, if I'm not mistaken. No, yeah, 1996. Then Matwaka, Ketomilo Suboni 1999, got February, I said, God. I'm together with my younger boy, who is my son, Kanan, and so in life, it doesn't do affect even psychological. So we as disability sector, as the victims that are involved to the car crash, we are saying and we are appealing, we are enough. Kabat belong batola car accident, Mbalula habasata pi, and Mbalula habasata board or baba kwa. So the only thing to assist the government is to obey the rules and regulations of the road. And at the time, this is eNCA. Those are the rules. And the other thing, Minister, to MECs, let us make it sure over the heavy load. So let us make it sure this way bridge, their services are including Liania Kronstadt, all of them, if Morwalo Utolo, they have to obey the rules and regulations of the road. But the heavy load, so so there is nothing wrong about the difference in one. What is the challenge? Car crash. So we are saying enough, it's enough, and let us not use alcohol. And in terms of the alcohol, Minister, let's make it sure all the traffic department, including community safety, they must make it sure. So please, it is my appeal. Let us use eNCA. We are the as the starting of the campaign, festive season, until January and the states start. So I will say in short, thank you to have the platform. My name is Paul Kamos. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Paul Sangoza and Bab Ngozi for sharing those stories, and basically thank you to God also for His grace upon your lives. There are many today that the roads have claimed their lives. I will now hand over to the MEC of Public Roads and Transport from Mpumalanga, MEC Mandla Ndlovu, to come and give a message of support on behalf of provincial government. Thank you, MEC.
Now, thanks for your time and greetings to all of us here. I am not going to address you, but I want to agree that from January to December, all of us, yes, we deserve a break. We must take a rest, not a long, peaceful rest, not a long, peaceful sleep. Your families need all of us. They are waiting for us. We must arrive alive. We must drive home and not to hospital ICUs or mortuaries. Before you leave, you must ensure that your car are roadworthy. Avoid overload. Please avoid to drink and drive. I want to request all of us that we must take care of ourselves, take care of our cars, on our garage, to take care of us on the road. I am tired of counting numbers. By the way, I'm a maths teacher, but I don't know how to count. So I don't want to continue to count numbers because I don't know how to count. We have started to count in Mpumalanga fatalities. Others are saying it's 20, 30, 4. So I don't want to continue to count numbers. Our roads are not straight, Comrade Mbalula. Our roads are not straight. I want to quote you when you said that our roads are not straight. Our roads are bumpy. Our roads are full of potholes. They need skillful drivers, must negotiate with potholes. We need skillful drivers. Take care of your cars, as I indicated, for the cars to take care of all of us. Speed kills. Be patient. Drive your car and other people's cars. Please don't drive your car only on the road. You must also drive other people's cars. Sekwenele, bopa, ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, MC. Minister had stated that he will be delivering his keynote address and then we will have the candle lighting ceremony, so there had been slight changes to the program. I apologize. Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me start first by greeting the Deputy Minister of Transport, Ms. Sindisiwe Chikunga. Let me also greet the MEC on behalf of all MECs, because this is an injunction of Mpumalanga, Gauteng and route to Durban. Comrade Mandla, the MEC of Transport in Mpumalanga. Let me also greet the Executive Mayor, who gave us a welcome address here today. Let me also greet the brand new chairperson of RTMC, Memu Fumadi, who's next to me here. She's brand new, Umucha, who replaced Zola Machabu. Give her a big round of applause. Watita Bafazi, Watiti Bogod, Uzagu, finish and plan. Let me also greet all chairpersons and CEOs of boards of our entities as they've been introduced earlier on. I greet you all. I will not single you out in terms of your individual status and standing. Let me greet the law enforcement officers who are here with us. Let me greet the brave South Africans who have had an encounter with road crashes and accidents, and who were able to brave the storm and come here today to tell their story. I hope that story will be packaged, and then it will be a story that will nourish the hearts of our people to understand, as we walk this path and talk about carnage on our roads, what are we talking about? And I honestly want to thank you for telling your story here today. It was not a movie, it was a moving story. And you were brave enough to talk about your encounter. You talked about drunken driving, reckless driving, which are the things that we talk about every day on the roads. And I was saying to the officers earlier on, we need to keep on sending the message in order for everybody to understand who is behind the wheel, the motorist, to understand the importance of driving with care. Here in South Africa, we leave everything to government. We have, as citizens, abandoned our citizenry responsibility, and we have surrendered that to government. Government must govern. Government must enforce the authority in terms of the law and the rule of law. But the responsibility to leave, it's our responsibility, and you can't surrender that to government. When you leave your house, car full of children driving drunk, you can't be saying you are doing that and government must come and deal with you in relation to that. You have surrendered your life, yourself, to death when you do things like that. And our brothers have spoken about that today. Today we mark the start of the 2022 festive season road safety Arrive Alive campaign. Following 2 years of various levels of restrictions brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, this year marked the first year of normal activity since the declaration of the state of national disaster due to COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. This is a period when families get together. Schools are closed and many workers are on Christmas break, and everyone partakes in the festivities of the season. It is a time to relax, recharge, and take a well-deserved break from a challenging year. It is equally a period where many revelers take to the roads, having had one too many while others conduct themselves recklessly, placing the lives of other road users at risk. This is also a period when migrant workers make their way home, away from the cities where they earn a living, crossing provincial and national boundaries, resulting in congested roads. This places tremendous pressure on our roads and requires heightened law enforcement to ensure that every road user reaches their destination alive. This congestion across our national road network requires of the road users to exercise extreme caution and vigilance. Road crashes resulting in serious injuries and fatalities continue to pose a huge burden to our economy, with a loss of more than 188 billion rand annually. Colin Litwalo, the CEO of RAF, and the board of RAF have been grappling with the question called these billions of rands loss and all of that, and exactly what is this billion of rands debt that we have in the RAF, and he have employed various mechanisms to deal with this. And in certain instances, there were disagreements between him and the board and the AG in terms of this liability we're grappling with. We're settling those differences with the aim of getting back on track in terms of what is it that we need to do. He has done a sterling job. He's been blamed for many things, attacked, and the board in terms of trying to reduce the debt and trying to get the unscrupulous people in the system out of it, particularly those lawyers who have been beneficiaries out of RAF. You see people driving beautiful cars here in Johannesburg and everywhere else out of RAF money. He carried the mandate we gave him as government, and part of that intervention included legislation, because, to cut the long story short, our aim with RAF is to get the money to the victims and the right victims, and not the money to be pickpocketed by people using the victims. And that's what we've been doing. And we have lost friends in that battle. People we know who are very close to us, me as the minister, and him, people who thought that now Litwalo, because of Jigalia, he must do these favors and so on. And we have had to put our foot down and do the right thing. I know when you work, you encounter a lot of difficulties and you commit a lot of mistakes, but not with the aim of running down the system, but by correcting. everything else that you need to correct. Ilento ngesixhosa kuthiwa izinja zikhonkotha ehambayo emileyo ziyayichamela. Because there is no dog that will chase a car that is just static. But they are chasing the car that is on the move. Here at the Department of Transport, we've been on the move, and that includes RAF going forward. So I just want to underline that point because it is important to understand the space we are operating in as we deal with this carnage on the road, what it costs the economy, and what we are doing as the department to try and address this challenge. The liability we have in terms of RAF, if it is not arrested and addressed and be contextualized properly, it will make ESCOM to look like a picnic. And that is what, as government, we have been dealing with. And in the new year, we will detail some of the approaches we are going to take in terms of addressing this liability. And hopefully, Cindy Chigunga, I will still be around. If I'm not around, there will still be capable people. But I'm certain I will come and bid you farewell. Because my movement is calling me elsewhere for my expertise and to run the organization and make it a point that the ANC remains in power forever. So that is my job. But if I'm not called upon that side, you will still not be offered. There will be people, and then we'll continue with the journey. Historic trends demonstrate that the festive season is characterized by lawlessness on our roads. This is a consequence of those who conduct themselves in a manner that undermines the rights of others to use the shared road space. This is a conduct that often results in the loss of life and limb on the roads. We remain resolute in our efforts to arrest the carnage on our roads. It is of paramount importance that we tackle the drivers of fatalities on the road. And this is very important for our law enforcement. Because once you take Jojo and a cold drink from a drunken person, or a person who have generally undermined the rules of the road, you must know that person is going to kill your brother, your sister, your wife, your children in the next journey where that person is going. And our visibility, Comrade CEO, we wanted Comrade CEO, Makosi. Yeah, but there is nothing wrong. Comrade is a friend. Now, the visibility of the police 24/7 on the road is important. And this time around, we pay for police overtime. It is worth it. Because we have seen with the police visibility in the last year's statistics, we have been able to make a dent. Because once there are no police, so our visibility on the road is important. Those things that we said we wanted to do, police camera, body cameras, to reduce this thing of taking bribes and all of that, smart policing. It's part of the package of smart policing on the road that will enhance police visibility, but also reduce this blatant behavior of taking bribes and undermining the law on the road, and so on. We remain resolute in our efforts to arrest the carnage. It is estimated that more than 90% of road traffic crashes can be directly attributed to the human element, which invariably relate to violation of traffic rules. Today we are launching the 2022 Road Safety Arrive Alive campaign under the theme, It Starts With You. This is to emphasize that road safety is a collective responsibility. If we are to achieve our target of reducing carnage on our roads by 25% by 31st March 2021, road users must change their behavior and attitude. Law enforcers must do their work without fear of favor, and road authorities must create a conducive environment to improve safety on the roads. However, we all know that the festive season is called a silly season because this is the period in which people exhibit their worst behavior. It is this phenomenon that we intend to uproot and throw a book at those who continue to break the law with impunity. Reckless behavior that places the safety of others in harm's way will not go unpunished, and the consequences will be dire. We must all remember that there is life beyond December. Beyond December, children must go to school. Workers must get back to the task of enabling economic productivity, and life's ambitions must be fulfilled. That is why we remind people to live beyond December. The RTMC has packaged a comprehensive plan towards tackling ill-discipline that drives fatalities on our roads. As we implement our festive season law enforcement interventions, we will tighten the noose around the necks of those who continue to perpetuate unlawful conduct. All traffic law enforcement authorities across spheres of government have committed themselves to aggressively tackle the following priority areas: vehicle roadworthiness, pedestrian safety, public passenger transport, drunken driving, and speeding. All vehicle fitness aspects will be closely monitored with intensified emphasis on passenger-carrying vehicles such as minibus taxis, buses, and buggies. All transgressions will be addressed and prioritized accordingly, and offenders will meet the full might of the law. The interventions that we initiated on the N2 Pongola and N3 Pietermaritzburg, including the routes R34 and R66 to address truck crash, will be intensified. We are pleased that the National Prosecuting Authority has dedicated prosecutors who will direct investigations of all truck and bus crashes on these routes. Multidisciplinary law enforcement operations will be conducted over the festive season to stop and check trucks and buses for roadworthiness on these routes as part of nationwide operations. Traffic authorities will also use the automatic number plate recognition technology to determine if trucks and buses traveling on the identified routes comply with road regulations. Vehicles traveling without registration plates or permits will be prosecuted. Special targeted alcohol enforcement roadblocks will be carried out at high-risk areas, and motorists are warned that should they be found with a blood of alcohol level over the legal limit, the law will take its full course. We are moving a legislation piece in Parliament for zero alcohol in your blood. It has ignited a lot of debate. In the new year, we look into exciting legislative interventions in the front of amending the National Land Transport Act, among others, to deal with alcohol people behind the wheel. We have started, it has gone past National Assembly, going to the NCOP. We're going on recess, we've gone on recess, we'll be going to Parliament for 1 or 2, 3 things on Tuesday, but in the new year, this work will continue. A stern warning must go to those who believe they can drive under the influence of alcohol on our roads with impunity, because they have the means to bribe law enforcement officials. Our anti-corruption efforts will focus on these wayward motorists and those law enforcement officials who either accept or solicit these bribes. You have seen the other day with SIU, we announced major intervention and the arrest that is being undertaken of corrupt law enforcement officers. The sting operations during this December is going to continue, particularly for those who will be working to undermine our efforts to bring to book those who are undermining the law on our roads. This is a cancer we are determined to uproot if we are to make a telling difference in making our roads safer. This year, our traffic law enforcement has been given a boost with the deployment of new technology called the e-Force. The National Traffic Police has piloted this technology over the past few months and has held extensive engagements with prosecution authorities to enable its use in traffic management. The e-Force will enable our officers to prosecute more traffic offenders, as it enables them to identify drivers and ownership of vehicles by simply scanning the driver's licenses and vehicle discs. Minimum effort and maximum results. Those who drive around with vehicle discs obtained fraudulently will be apprehended. Through the RTMC's National Anti-Corruption Unit, we have built institutional capacity to deal with bribery, fraud, and corruption in traffic management across spheres of government. CO, are we able to demonstrate that today or later, the e-Force, or it's not part of our operations?
We have the country.
We will do it now. I want to arrest a couple of people when we are done here. So if we are able to deploy it and just to demonstrate to the media, I know it's only e-News that is here because you care about our people. Others are not here, they are chasing who becomes the Secretary General. And they leave the Secretary General here. And then they are chasing the Secretary General. The Secretary General is here. So we appreciate the media houses who are here, who will carry the story of our efforts in terms of road safety on our roads. That is very important, and we've been carrying this story for years. Because what we do here must be known by the motorists, including the e-Force gadgets we are deploying. It's very important, the work and the efforts we are undertaking as government to arrest the carnage on our roads. To our men and women in uniform, the task of saving life and limb and ensuring our roads are safe is an important national service you must undertake with diligence and pride. This is an immense contribution not only to ensuring that the economy thrives, but also to saving lives that have so much to contribute to society. We salute your efforts and will provide the necessary support to ensure that you have the necessary tools of trade to do your work to the best of your ability. To all road users who rely on our roads for their livelihood and to connect with family and loved ones, I appeal that you to exercise care and patience on the road and appreciate that the road is a shared space. Be patient at the various enforcement interventions. And remember, these officers are out there doing a thankless task, exposed to the elements just to ensure your safety. Saving life and limb this festive season depends on your conduct and respect for the rights of others using the road. We must all appreciate that road safety is everyone's responsibility. It starts with you. I wish to conclude with a special appeal to motorists. Please drive with your headlights on during the day to enhance visibility. Please plan your trips carefully and avoid traveling at night or early hours of the morning, as these are times when most crashes occur. Reduce your speed when driving in rainy conditions. Be always on the lookout for pedestrians. I also wish to thank the private sector partners who continue to support our road safety efforts throughout the year. We are in this together. Working together, we can make a telling difference in saving life and limb on our roads and grow South Africa together. Buckle up and let us all arrive alive. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for the keynote address. We are now going to go into the candle lighting ceremony, and I would like to request that Minister starts by lighting the candle in the center, followed by Deputy Minister. If you could just come into the center as well, you will be lighting the candle that was next to Minister, and then MEC will be lighting the candle.